Well, everybody, we did it. It's Sam here. Top 10 favorite albums. I appreciate you all joining me on this ridiculous venture that I've taken. Again, thank you, Jeff Witcher, for the inspiration for doing this. I know a lot of people have done it, but I guess it took Jeff to do it to show that, you know, anybody can do it. Anyway, um, yeah, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it so much. These are my top 10 favorite albums. Again, as I've said in the other installments, not the best albums of all time, not the greatest, my favorite. They have personal meaning to me. And these 10 in particular are, these are the ones that I would take with me to the grave. So let's jump right into it. And I'm going to start with a surprise, I think. That's right, folks. It's Christmas. The Statler Brothers Christmas Card. This is the album that I associate with when thinking of home at Christmas time. The Statler Brothers are a vocal quartet, gospel quartet, country quartet out of Stanton, Virginia, which is about an hour and a half north of me. And again, I've talked about before that I had the good fortune to interview Don Reed, who is an original member of the Statler Brothers. And then I got to interview a later member, Jimmy Fortune, who came along after this album. But they do all of the Christmas standards, but it's just in their style. And then they have their own originals that are just unbelievable. Songs, like original songs on here. I Believe in Santa's Cause. It's a great song. I Never Spend a Christmas That I Don't Think of You. Christmas to Me, not the Stevie Wonder song. Who Do You Think, which is one of my all-time favorite Christmas songs. I've sung that with my band at my church. Love that song. Check out the song Who Do You Think, if nothing else. Something You Can't Buy, the carols the kids used to sing. It's just a warm album to me. It epitomizes Christmas, which is my favorite time of year. So that's number 10 for me, Christmas Card by the Statler Brothers. And on a completely different note, number 9, What's the Story, Morning Glory by Oasis. Of course, Oasis, Britpop group out of Manchester, UK. You've got Noel and Liam Gallagher, the Gallagher brothers, and a modern day masterpiece. This album should have come out in the 60s, came out in the 90s. Year after I was born, 1995. It opens with the rockin' song Hello. The rockin' song after that, Roll With It. Then their biggest hit, Wonderwall. Then you have the beautiful ballad of Don't Look Back in Anger, sung by Noel Gallagher. Then you have Hey Now. Then you have an instrumental interlude. Then you have side B, which opens with Some Might Say. Cast No Shadow, just one of the most beautiful songs that Noel ever wrote. She's Electric is like power pop. Morning Glory is just a rockin' song. All your dreams are made when you're chained to the mirror and the razor blade. Today's the day that all the world will see. And then you go into this little weird, like, instrumental soundscape, and then you finish the album with the fantastic 7-minute epic song Champagne Supernova. And Noel and Liam even admit they don't know what the song is about, but it's just so good. Just a rockin' album. What's the Story, Morning Glory, number 9. Number 8, I know every word to this album, Graceland by Paul Simon. Excuse me. Paul Simon, a later day masterpiece from him in terms of, thinking back to him being with Simon and Garfunkel 20 years before this album even came out. Came out in 1986. Opens with the really Zydeco heavy Boy in the Bubble. Then you have like the breezy, airy Graceland with the Everly Brothers singing background vocals. You have the very African sounding I Know What I Know with the background singers. Gumboots, you don't feel you could love me, but I feel you. Sorry, I'm still getting over strep. And then you have Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes. And then you have You Can Call Me Al, just back-to-back masterpieces. And then you have the beautiful Under African Skies, the duet with Emmylou Harris. And then, of course, at the Graceland concert, he did it with Miriam Makeba. Then you have the a cappella Homeless with Ladysmith Black Mambazo. Just a beautiful song. Crazy Love Volume 2 is kind of like similar sounding musically to Graceland, the song. That Was Your Mother, very New Orleans sounding. Then All Around the World, or The Myth of the Fingerprints, which is backed by Los Lobos. Just, I cannot say enough good things. I love this album. Graceland. All right, number 7, Born and Raised by John Mayer. Again, another album that I've touted since I've started my channel. I don't think people listen to me. It's just, forget who John Mayer is. Listen to this album as music. I mean, if you love Crosby, Stills and Nash, if you love Bob Dylan, if you love Neil Young, if you love Joni Mitchell, please listen to this album. Nash and Crosby are on this album. I mean, literally, they're on the song "Born and Raised." It's just fantastic. It's produced by Don Was. It's again a Laurel Canyon album made in 2012. It's so good. Please check it out. Please, I'm begging you. Listen to Born and Raised. Forget John Mayer. Just forget that it's John Mayer. Just get this album. I'm telling you, get it. You can tell this is my most animated episode here. All right, so that's 10, 9, 8. Number 6, my favorite Tom Petty album, Full Moon Fever. Just did a video with Rich Strickler on this album. And JC, Josh. Produced by Jeff Lynne, Mike Campbell, and TP. You've got, Won't Back Down, Free Fallin', Running Down a Dream, Love Is a Long Road, Facing the Crowd. They got the Killer Birds cover, I'll Feel a Whole Lot Better, which they do to a T. You're So Bad, one of my favorites to play on guitar. Depending on You. The Apartment song, which is like a rockabilly kind of dingo 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 sound. The beautiful ballad All Right for Now, just like a lullaby. A Mind with a Heart of Its Own, very Bo Diddley sounding. Dunk 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 dunk. And then the weird, goofy Zombie Zoo to close it. It's Petty's first solo album without the Heartbreakers. Like I said, even though Mike Campbell is on it, and Benmont Tench contributes very small piano pieces. Excuse me. Full Moon Fever, Tom Petty. Alrighty. Top 5. Here we go. Odyssey and Oracle by the Zombies. A lost masterpiece that is now finally taken up the recognition it deserves. I mean, it's recorded in 1967, doesn't come out till 68 after the Zombies have disbanded. The Zombies were not making money. They didn't hate each other. They broke up, on good terms as friends, and they all helped each other out in their solo careers in various degrees, but they just couldn't make any money. They recorded this album in Abbey Road after hours, after the Beatles went home, while they were recording Sgt. Pepper. So that kind of gives you the vibe, except the Zombies had less money. So it's more, it's a more at-home sounding album. And they've got the big hit on here, Time of the Season, obviously. You have my favorite song, This Will Be Our Year, on there, which is going to be played at my wedding, whenever that will be. Care of Cell 44, Rose, excuse me, Rose for Emily, Brief Candles, Changes, I Want Her, She Wants Me, Butcher's Tale, sung by Chris White, Friends of Mine, just Baroque, pop, sunshine pop. It's so good. You all know this album. Number 5 for me. Alrighty, number 4. Traveling Wilburys, Volume 1. I've talked about Volume 3 in the episode many moons ago. and I've talked about how Volume 1 is just, it's the album that opened so many doors to me musically. It got me into, the work of Bob Dylan. It got me into Petty. It got me into George Harrison. It got me into Orbis. It just, and then, after all that, it just expanded. And Volume 1 is just a masterpiece. I mean, an album that's got Handle with Care and End of the Line on it should be in anybody's top 10 and not alone. But then you've got songs like Dirty World, which is, it's great. He loves your electric gun plank. He loves your red bell pepper. He loves your trembling Wilbury. It's just so good. The song Rattled is very 50s Jeff Lynne. Last Night is goofy Tom Petty. Not Alone Anymore is a Roy Orbison vocal masterpiece. Congratulations is a great Dylan ballad. Heading for the Light is classic George Harrison. Sunshine. Margarita has one of my favorite lines in it by Tom Petty with "She wrote a long letter on a short piece of paper." You've got the epic Tweeter and the Monkey Man, which is pure Dylan. And then, of course, End of the Line. I could go on and on. Traveling Wilburys, number 4. Number 3, my all-time favorite Dylan album. No getting around it. Blood on the Tracks. 1974, absolute masterpiece. It's Dylan's divorce album. Jacob Dylan, his son, has said that he hears his mom and dad all over this record. It opens with Tangled Up in Blue. So, there's that in itself. And then it goes into the beautiful, simple twist of fate. You're a big girl now, Idiot Wind. You're going to make me lonesome when you go. One of his more, upbeat love songs. Meet Me in the Morning is bluesy. Lily, Rosemary, and the Jack of Hearts, one of his epic, 8-minute long songs. If You See Her, Say Hello is beautiful. Shelter from the Storm. And then Buckets of Rain with the weird tunings. It's just a perfect Dylan album. If you don't like Bob Dylan, or you don't know how to start with Blood on the Tracks. It is just perfect. It's a perfect album. Blood on the Tracks, number 3. All right, number 2. These top 2 should not be any surprise to anybody that knows me or that follows my channel. So I'm not even going to make it a big reveal. Number 2, Abbey Road by the Beatles. What else do you say? The second side is pure genius. The suite, the production on this. Some people say that the production's too clean on this. I love it. You start with Come Together, and then you end technically with The End, even though Her Majesty's hidden on the end there. But what a way for the Beatles to go out. It's just a masterpiece of an album. Like, I cannot believe an album like this was created. I really can't. Yeah. Abbey Road, number 2. And surprise, surprise, number 1, Pet Sounds. I talk about it all the time. It's got my all-time favorite song on it, with God Only Knows. It's got one of the best openings with Wouldn't It Be Nice. It's got one of the best Brian Wilson vocals with Caroline No. One of his best falsettos with You Still Believe in Me. You have the fun, traditional Sloop John B. I Know There's an Answer. You've got I Just Wasn't Made for These Times, which is essentially Brian Wilson's mantra. Again, I love this album. I love it. And the fact that it's so high, the fact that it's number 1 for me, says it all. And the fact that when I first heard this album, I didn't really understand it. I didn't understand the fuss behind it. And it was one of those that's proof that listening to an album a few times, as difficult as it might be, sometimes can make the difference. And had I stopped on just one listen to this album, this album probably wouldn't have made my top 50. But then once I started to know it and understand it, and I learned the history behind it and what Brian was doing, and the fact that he did it at 24 years old. Are you kidding? It's an absolutely brilliant album. It's my number 1. So there you go. I finished this series, and I hope you've all enjoyed it. I've gotten some good feedback on it, and hopefully I've got something kind of similar coming up as the next mini series after this, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Let me know what you think of my top 10. You know, even if you don't like it, that's your opinion. So these are my top 10 favorite albums, and I will leave it at that. So thank you all again. Again, y'all be good. Please take care. Be safe. And I'll talk to y'all real soon. Bye now.